how do you even do this one? Like, I still don't know if this is the right way to do it, or if there's, like, some kind of secret trick. But yeah, like, I was really confused. And now, and over time, I'm like, well, all that stress and stuff I was feeling about that wasn't really necessary. It was just, in the end, it was all about patience, you know? That's the real trick to getting an art style, is patience. Do you have patience? And it's only going to get more stressful the more impatient you are. And I feel like all that was really necessary for my process too. It was like uniquely different because of like, well, stuff like Japanese commercial art is really interesting to me. It's not interesting to anyone else, maybe. A lot of people would just be like, oh, I know what I like, but I enjoy analyzing the difference between like what makes something work in the West compared to like East Asia. Because I'm like, partly I think because I was like, oh, maybe I want to live in Japan for a while, and now I'm not so keen on that anymore. So I'm like, okay, of course I'm not gonna have that in use then. Partly just because of like what I like and being like, what do I like about a lot of like Japanese art? And it comes down to, you know, feeling and minimalism. In East Asian art, there's often this aspect of like, I feel at least, that people are afraid of drawing ugly people. Like, if you watch an anime, at least a modern day anime, everyone in it look perfect. It's really difficult to find like an anime where there's ugly people. And if you do, people would be like, oh, this looks different. You know, Aisoken, or whatever. Or like the Masaki Uesa stuff. And, shit. What was I talking about even? I got so focused on this that I completely lost. Oh yeah, ugly anime is great. And if I say ugly anime or ugly people in anime, you can probably think of like, oh, these anime things, you know, like Aisoken, Masaki Uesa, Dragon Pilot maybe, and Tatami Galaxy. Yeah, like there's a handful, there's a decent bunch, and they all look like amazing. But comparatively, 90%, or if not more, of anime just has this same art style, and I feel like part of that is just that people are afraid of drawing ugly people. Like, even the people who are supposed to be ugly in anime are often way too beautiful. When is it okay to give up? No! When is it okay to give up? I wouldn't say never. That would be dumb. Give up right now. I mean, if a guy is like 60 and he's like, I want to be a pro soccer player, you wouldn't be like, yeah, go do it. You'd be like, hey, don't do that. First off, you're gonna break your hip and die. I don't know how that works. Why old people die from their hip getting broken, but you know, it's just what happens. And I took a break. Now I'm back, ready to go at it again. And I listened back to what I talked about last time, and I was like, huh. No, I sound pretty anxious talking about all this stuff, because I am like a pretty anxious person. If you haven't picked up on that. And then out of curiosity, I was like, I wonder. Well, I didn't really think that. I didn't think to that extent. I was just like, oh, I want to watch one of my old Let's Plays, and I wanted. It was not that I wanted to like hear how different I sounded comparatively, but I did notice like a difference in my thought process, just of like playing Yumeniki Dream Diary. Like, all my thoughts on Yumeniki Dream Diary, that game, are super complicated and convex with like, oh, communication, high communication, low communications, shit. Dude, they put that mug there just to fuck with me. And does that make you actually enjoy art, thinking about art in that way? is my question. You know, what the thing is, you know, that I'm thinking about now as I'm listening back to myself talking is like, is it any wonder that I get bored of art? That I get like overwhelmed by the things that I make when I think about art and making things in that way? Because the thing is, I enjoy thinking about things, but is that good to think about things in that way? I'm not sure anymore. I don't think so. And I feel like that is something I've thought about for a while already. Like, oh, when I think about art, like in terms of communication, high communication, low communication, think about art in the ways of like, oh, this is personal expression, this is that. That is fun to think about. It really is. But doesn't that as a whole make art very not fun to pursue? Like, I am kind of... It's kind of weird, right? Because we pick what we believe in, and you might reach a point where you look back at yourself, having like recorded yourself talk about a lot of stuff, and you're like, okay, so this is who I am as a person. This is me letting my thoughts run free. Is this good for me? Is this really what I should be thinking about? And I feel like that's like an aspect of doing Let's Plays that I have missed. Because the thing about doing Let's Plays is that, like, you are bound to just let your thoughts run free. And that means you're going to say a lot of really, like, weird stuff or really stupid stuff. But that's kind of like an aspect that I missed about it, just because of, like, it's fun, in a way, to, god damn it, to listen back to all these things that you said and hear people's responses to it. And I feel like that is important, just to, like, grow as a person, right? And I have already thought about that. Like, isn't it weird that I think about art in these ways? Because, ultimately, I'm not really thinking about art as an aspect of, like, how do I make art fun, right? I'm thinking about art in the aspect of, like, what is art supposed to be? How do you make the greatest art? And I'm not thinking, like, am I allowing myself to have fun by thinking about art and making things in those ways, in those aspects? Wouldn't I be doing all the things that I think about doing anyway if I just thought this is how I have fun doing art? Wouldn't that be better?